Good morning, friends. Well, let me catch you up on what's going on at Red Robin Farm and in my itty bitty studio. First of all, I always forget to say anything about subscribers and that kind of stuff because I'm terrible at marketing. But I want to say I'm so excited at all the new subscribers. My watch hours and my views and my subscribers are all up, and I don't know why, but I think that's lovely. And I hope you find something here you enjoy. This is not like I'm a professional spinner. I'm a professional weaver. Uh, I'm none of that. This is a vlog, so this is just my life and the things I like to do. So if you find what you're going to hear me say a lot is, I've never done this before, so watch how I mess up. So these are not DIYs. I know it all at all. Okay, so that's a disclaimer. But thanks, new subscribers. Okay, so today I want to talk about well, let me talk about weaving first. I am working on this weave on my loom. Let me show that to you real quick. So there it is. I think I'm about 1/3 of the way through. I'm relatively pleased with it, but I am now desperate to get this off of my loom because I have a very exciting new project that I want to put on my loom, and I want to tell you about it right now. To be brutally honest, I am bored with weaving. Can I say that? Um, I, I want to do things that are very creative, and I love the impulse and spontaneity that creativity gives you. And I'm just not getting that from weaving anymore. I used to do that. I used to incorporate all kinds of interesting yarns and metallic stuff and frizzy stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of got tired of just the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth of the weft. And so then I did one interesting weave one time that was really crazy. It was too hard, so I never replicated it. I used to make grapevine wreaths because, as I'll show you right now, we have tons of grapevine in a little area of our property that we hilariously call the orchard. But the grapevines don't really bear much of anything because there's not enough sun, but boy, do they grow. And I used to make wreaths. And here's a photo of the biggest wreath I ever made that I never did sell at the farmer's market because it was so huge. But one time I decided that I would try to weave something inside the middle of a grapevine wreath. And not being an expert weaver either, that was challenging. It did turn out interesting. And a very good friend took pity upon me and bought it one time. And I hope that she's enjoyed it. But recently, I realized that what I think I would love to do with weaving is tapestry wall hangings. Now, some of these are kind of hokey and kitschy looking. They look like mid-70s macrame. I'm not really interested in that, but they are some really cool stitches. And I'll put some, hopefully up here, I'll put some links to a lady. Oh, I don't know her name, but her channel is called Spruce and Linen. And of course, she sells kits, and you know me, I'm never going to pay money for something, but she sells the frames that you can do and all of the yarn. Well, I don't need her yarn because I have so much yarn, and I have all kinds of weird specialty yarns that I don't use, and I've got all kinds of roving, but I need a frame, but I can use my rigid heddle loom, according to Kelly Casanova. Maybe I'll link that up there too. You can use your rigid heddle loom to do tapestry weaving too. Okay, I would like to try to use my loom, but without the heddle. I don't really want to necessarily use the heddle to change the shed. I want to weave with a tapestry needle, and I think, yeah, I really think I do. I'm just watching these ladies do this stuff, and I can just tell what appeals to my particular type of creativity. So I'm gonna get this stuff, this thing, this huge weave off of here as fast as I can, and then take the heddle out and see if I can strap up some crochet thread. I think is what I'm gonna try to use as the warp. I've been thinking about that for a long time, and then use all kinds of interesting things for the weft and see if I can, because I paint too, I want to kind of paint on this tapestry weave. Okay, enough of that. I also want to talk about my two spinning wheels and what I've been trying to do. I showed you that semi-miraculous transformation of the that white over twisted yarn. Now what I'm trying to do is finish off the singles I've been spinning on my Kromsky Fantasia. So let me show you that right now. Okay, we've done a lot of carding with this gorgeous midnight blue and then that kind of raspberry pink. There's also there's some more of that pink down there. This is all that white that Kromsky sent me for free, that pound of white. It's not merino. It's just kind of a regular wool. So a little bit scratchier, also not as smooth. The fibers are more twisted together, as you see. But it works fine. It's great for spinning. I actually really enjoy spinning this kind of stuff because it doesn't separate as much as this, although this is so soft. Okay, so I've been doing all that carding. I'll put that over there. And so I've got myself 2 bobbins now that are about the same. Again, I have no idea if they have the same amount on them, but I'm gonna ply from 2 bobbins. And just do a 2-ply like that. And I'm not doing a chain ply, and I'm not doing a bracelet ply. Because this is a single drive band, it doesn't put a lot of twist into the singles. Honestly, they could use a little more. So if pulling the singles off of the top of the bobbin like this puts more twist into it, I'm really okay with that. I'm beginning to realize as I spin longer and longer that this doesn't, I like how leisurely this wheel is. It's a lovely, relaxing spinning experience, but it doesn't put a lot of twist into your yarn. You have to be careful with this wheel that you don't end up with singles that will just kind of come apart on you. I tell you the thing I do love is this magnetic flyer that comes off. If I want to change out the bobbin, all I have to do is pull this off, take the bobbin off, put a new bobbin on. I know I've shown you all this before, and it just pops on. In contrast, my other wheel. Okay, so this wheel, if I want to take this bobbin off, I have to twist this maiden over here, take off that leather bearing. I have to loosen the tension down here and take the double drive band off of the whirl and the bobbin. And then I have to take the whole flyer assembly off by twisting this maiden and then and remove the flyer. And then I can take the bobbin off. It's okay, but what worries me, you have to readjust. You have to put your dry band on and readjust your tension every time you do that. And you also are manipulating your flyer, and that's how flyers get broken. It's a miracle that this one hasn't broken over 200 years. So all that to say, it's just a little harder to change a bobbin on this wheel. But that super twisty yarn I did, it was a pain. But I look at it now and I think, it's really strong. It has a lot of twist. And in contrast, these singles down here, I do worry about them a little bit. I think they'll be fine. The thing that I'm working on right now, I do this a little bit every day, is this mitered square blanket. Okay. And it's only really just beginning. I'm on my 3rd row. I'm making this for my grandson, and I've been really slow about it because it's not for any particular event. So I'm kind of dilly-dallying and working on a little here and there. But I know the mitered square blanket video has been really popular. I'll maybe link to that up there if they'll let me. Probably got too many links in this video. But what I tried to do this time is, as you can see, I'm doing a diagonal pattern where here's the turquoises. I'm on my 3rd turquoise going across. The white is going across, the brown's going across. Anyway, last time I didn't do a pattern of any type, and I really like that blanket a lot. But thought I would give this a try as long as I don't run out. I was doing this green. Yeah, you can tell, can't you? I had a darker green and I ran out, and I've got more of the dark green to go. So I had to switch to a Simply Soft. This is a Simply Soft. It's tiny bit thinner yarn, but it'll do. It'll do. I don't think he'll mind. He's a baby. He just wants a blankie. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, there's this. Do you ever get into a mess with your spinning wheel where you're like, I don't have enough bobbins, darn it. So I've got those 2 singles that I want to ply together. This is the problem with plying from multiple bobbins, from 2 bobbins, is you need 3 bobbins. 2 for the singles and 1 to put it onto. And when you do chain ply or bracelet ply, you need 1 bobbin. So This is a pain. This is my other bobbin, and I had some wool on here that my spinning mentor Lynn gave me, and it was just a little bit, and so I had to ply it. So I did use a bracelet ply on this, and now I'm going to take it off there, and it's just a little dab of yarn, and I'll put it with the rest of its people. I'm slowly. Well, let me show you that. Maybe this will be interesting. Okay, so I am very slowly, as I said, working through this. This is very cloudy stuff. What you notice here is that the fibers are not straight, and they're not going straight, and they're not going to go straight. They're very fuzzy. Okay, and this is, I'll call this Lynn's wool. This is sheep's wool, okay? And it was a fleece that she got, or she didn't get the whole fleece, but she got, it was dirty though. The wool was very dirty, very stinky, lots of lanolin in there. She got tired of cleaning it. She gave what she had cleaned to me, and she threw the rest of it away because she was like, I am not going to mess with this. Now this is the wool that Kromsky sent me. You can see that these fibers are a bit straighter. Okay, these ones are really crinkly, and these are a bit straighter. If you contrast that with these are very, very straight. Okay, now when you start to spin, most people tell you, oh, when you use a hackle or when you hand card, the goal is to get all the fibers going in the same direction. I was told this over and over, get them all going in the same direction, okay? And then once you do that with through your diz or in your roving or your rollags or whatever you're doing, then you spin with it. And you'll get this beautiful smooth single, and try to get them as thin, as you reasonably can. And that's great if that's the kind of yarn you want, okay? And now I hope I'm not misspeaking, but I think that is called worsted. And most spinners, when they start, do worsted. And because all those strands are going the same way, and it's like with this blue stuff, it's all smooth and slick. It's really hard to do a long draw on that because they'll just pull apart because they're not crinkly and they're not grabbing onto each other. Okay, so with this, you want that they're going to go in the same direction because they're all so very straight. You'd have to mat them up, and so that's what you do. I think it's worsted. The other type of spinning is called woolen, and this is when you, maybe if I have enough links, I'll link to this. You see old guys doing this who like to spin. They'll have two hand carders, and they'll just take some wool and they'll just smack it on there and cram it in, and then they'll just grab it off, and it'll just be this mass. And you're like, why did you even put that on carders? I mean, they're not doing this drawing it out smooth, but they're processing the wool for what they want, which is, I think, a woolen yarn is what the woolen spinning is what they're doing. And it's more this kind where you can't get these straight. But what they will do is they will grab onto each other, and they also are very lofty, and so they're going to hold a lot of air in there. So this kind of thing is really good for making a warm sweater, whereas because it's going to hold that air in. This kind of straight stuff is great for something that has a beautiful drape. Okay, now if I sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't be fooled, because I don't. But this is what I'm learning, what I'm kind of gathering from the reading and viewing I'm doing online. So let's put Lynn's crinkly stuff away. But I don't know if I washed this again or she washed this too. Anyway, it's pretty clean. It smells a little sheepy, but not much. It's actually very clean, and I think it makes a lovely, I've triple plied this, I think. Boy, that would be some warm. But there's not enough to make a lot with, except for maybe a scarf. Anyway, I have some dirty of that down there too. You don't want to see that. So that's the story of the hand spun I'm working with. That's what this is. This is Lynn's wool. And you can see it's a whole lot more inconsistent and bumpy and stuff and fuzzy than the other stuff that I've spun. But that's what it's supposed to be. And so there is no good yarn and bad yarn. right yarn and wrong yarn. There's just what kind of yarn do you want for what you're going to make. And that means you have to think ahead of time, which I never do. I just spin it up and go, oh, I just birthed some new yarn. Now what am I going to do with it? Okay, I know this is a yappy video, and if you don't like yappy videos, just, go somewhere else where they're teaching you something. Now I'm always watching the twist in here to see when it's the amount of twist that I want. When does it look like that nice candy stripe that you want? And as you see, the twist starts on this end. Sometimes you get a little bit of tight twist in here. Sometimes you have to help it on this far end. And so you can help the twist come along by doing your fingers like this. You can move the twist up this double by doing this. It's the most fun part of the plying is just watching this twist section between the orifice and your pinched fingers. And it really does take a second or two usually for that twist to build up. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. See, big twist, smaller twist. There you go. The twist always seems to be tighter in the narrower singles, and if you have a fat section in there, it takes it longer to twist. So the more consistent the size of your singles, the more consistent your twist will be when you ply. He sits here and watches me spin a lot. I think he likes the spinning wheel. Mostly he naps though. Now he's looking at me lovingly, which is hilarious because I've never been a cat person. Well, I've been plying for about an hour, and as you can see, I've got some pretty fun yarn on that bobbin. I've now come to the end. Here's my leader from one of my bobbins, but my other bobbin still has a lot on it. Let me show you. Here's the one that still has some singles on it. It looks like I've got at least 2.5 rolags left on there. Because I do color block them, I know I've got a pink, and I've got part of a, looks like that's a blue, and that's a more of a solid blue. So I've got a lot of single left. And this is where I think perhaps bracelet plying comes in so useful. So many people have told me, don't try to bracelet ply a whole bobbin of yarn. But if you have some single left at the end, this is when bracelet plying is useful. Now, Andean plying can be done anytime that you're making a big loop with your single and plying the two ends together and plying it with itself. But you can use, as I've shown you can use a book to do that. They even have tools to do Andean plying. But bracelet plying always happens on your wrist. Okay, so I am going to try to figure out how to bracelet ply the end of this single. Wish me luck. I appear to be having some success. I will say that when you start this, you have to start, of course, with the end that's coming out of your orifice, because that's going to be the end that's going to go around your thumb. And as you can see, this is my plied double. There's the little end of the white that I ran out of. And I have to make it come out this way so that I can do the bracelet plying on this end. Actually, I'm standing up as I do this so that both of them come straight up. Okay, maybe I'll try to show you that. Okay, so now I'm standing up, and can't see. I hope I stay inside the camera range. I'm still doing the same type of bracelet plying that I learned from Kate Jackson. And this will not be a huge bracelet, okay, because like I said, it's just the end of my single, so it's not going to end up being this huge wad on my hand. The interesting part will be, will I be able to continue, I don't know why I couldn't continue applying this onto the end of my double to finish off this bobbin, which is already rather full, so I'm not quite sure if it's all going to fit on there. We'll have to see about that. All right, I'll come back to you when I get to the end of this bracelet and start to put it back on that bobbin. Okay, now I've finished with my little bracelet. Here's my end that was attached to my leader. Okay, let's slip it off my fingers here. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Okay, so this one's going to come off, and it's going to get attached. Boy, did I do this right? I might have to slip this off or reverse it or something. Let me think about it. I just took the bracelet off. As long as you keep that hole in the middle, you're good. But the thing is that this little end that was attached to my leader needs to be attached to this white, and it's clearly coming out this way. I can't make it go out the other way, and it's going to be plying in that direction. So I'm going to bring this through here. I really would like to have it back on my wrist because it is more secure that way. And I'm going to put a little knot between these two. It may not be very pretty, but it is rather adventurous. And I'm more into the adventure. Okay, now, can I get that back on my wrist? Yes. Can I pull it around to the top? Yes. Do I have my two ends? Yes. This is great. Okay, so now I'm going to try to finish off this single at the end of this huge bobbin. Oh, watch me go to all that trouble and not have room on my bobbin. Well, if it happens, it happens. Okay, I'll let you watch a little bit of this. Ooh. All right, little machine. Yeah, that joint is not going to be very pretty. But it might not be as ugly as it could be. Now, will I be able to get this thing off my wrist? I need to stop and ponder this as well. Well, yes, it seems to be working. Even though I took the bracelet off and turned it around the other way, it does seem to be coming off just fine, which is a very happy thing. It's coming off very smoothly. You know, I hate to admit this, but I like bracelet plying more than I like flying off of two bobbins. For some reason, having it on my wrist, what what does it give me? It's not exactly a sense of control. It is an ability to control the feeding of it rather than having the singles come rattling off a bobbin that's down on the floor. I don't know. There's something about this that I don't know if I find it pleasant or find it efficient. I like having both singles coming from the same source. I feel like I can navigate them better. I can control them better. Well, I better keep an eye on this bobbin. I have, ooh, boy, that's pretty close. I get distracted spinning and chatting with you. And before you know it, your bobbin is cram-packed. I'm sure you're watching it going, stop! Okay. Well, you don't have to watch all this. I'll bring you back in when I'm done. Okay, it did fit on the bobbin, I'm glad to say. Loosen my tension a bit and slip it off the bobbin. So here's my bobbin of yarn. Boy, that's a lot of work and I'm not sure what I think. I do have color blocking, which is great. Like at the end, I ended up with pink on pink. I really like the white and yellow together. I ended up with a lot of kind of blue on blue. You could probably control that by keeping track of your roll lags and everything better, or by putting totally different colors on one bobbin than on the other. Of course, if you end up with the bracelet plying at the end, you're going to get the very end is going to be the same color with itself. So I'm going to go take this off on my nitty knotty, put it into skein, steam it on the stove for about 15 to 30 minutes, and then let it dry, and we will see how it looks. Oh, oops, one more thing I forgot to say is that the leisurely time of year is about to be over, and that's January and February, when I don't go to the farmer's market, and so I don't have to make all these other things for people like soap and lotion and shampoo bars. And today, one thing I have to do for a couple hours is go make a batch of shampoo bars because I have none. I have no shampoo bars. Even my husband uses these and he worries that he's going to run out. I don't love doing this. I'd really rather mess with yarn, but it's a necessity. So I may bring you in on that project a little bit. I've got Let's Make Shampoo Bars video already that I hope is adequate. I'll try to link that up there if I can. But that's what else I'm doing today. All right, bye. Okie dokie, as promised, here's a quick glimpse at the shampoo bars. These are my 4 oils that are melting right now. That is 10 ounces of coconut oil, 10 ounces of premium lard, 10 ounces of olive oil, and 6 ounces of castor oil. And chilling on the back porch is a container that looks empty or like it has water, but that actually is 5 ounces of lye, and I get mine from the Lye Guy online, and 12 ounces of distilled water. And it is very hot, and it's also cooling. And it's cool in the back porch, that helps. Here's a quick little shot of the ingredient list for this particular shampoo bar. It's a soap with special oils for hair. And this particular version of shampoo bar calls for 2 essential oils, a little bit of peppermint and a little bit of rosemary. Well, now they've both cooled off, perhaps even too much. I'm going to pour my lye mixture into my melted oils, and then I'm going to use my stick blender on it until it comes to trace, which means it's like a just barely pudding. And then I'll add just a little bit, probably just 15 drops of each one of those, and pour it into my molds. Okie dokie, I've got my soap molds underneath plastic and also underneath towels to keep them warm. This is a nice full mold. I'll be cutting these into good size bars, nice and square, for selling. This is a much smaller mold, and I'll cut these into flatter bars for my husband to use. So both will get used a lot. Okay, that's the shampoo bar making for today. Thanks for joining me.